Hey guys, it's me, Kim. I'm back with another video. So today I'm gonna do a little follow-up video from one that I posted last week. Last week I did a video about Cyn Santana and her interview with Angela Yee, where she talked about how black men treat her better than Latin men, and colorism and dating and partnership, and I wove all of that stuff together. Or is it weaved? Weaved? I put it all together and we discussed it. We worked through it. And there were a lot of comments on that video, and I expected there to be a lot of comments because everybody has something to say when it comes to dating. Everybody has an opinion, and I love that. I welcome it. I will tell you though, in 2019, I'm not going to be going back and forth with people on the internet, not on Facebook, not on Twitter, not on YouTube, nowhere. But I do see your comments, and I occasionally like comments, and I star comments, I heart comments, and I want to make sure that y'all know that I'm thinking about what you say to me. I want to make it clear that even while I'm dissecting the social dynamics that have an impact on black women's lives, I do not at all, not even a little bit, think that black women in part or in whole are resigned to a life of loneliness and misery. Not at all. That kind of video is to say that we can be out here happy and joyous and loved and cared for, but there's still a lot of other stuff going on, and I really like to talk about the other stuff. But everybody doesn't love the way that I talk about the other stuff, and that is okay. What I decided to do for this video is go through a few different types of comments that were on that post and just, push back. I'm gonna push back a little bit. So let's take a look at this one. LOL, I'm a black woman, and I actually don't care if some black men like non-black women. I have a Mexican white man. He asked to marry me, honey. I have never had a problem attracting black, Hispanic, Asian, Indian, or anyone, to be honest. That is an ugly girl problem, not a black woman issue. I have never really been into black guys anyway. As far as dating them, I always found that Hispanic, Indians, and Hawaiians were more attractive in my opinion. However, black women do need to expand their options outside of black men. I'm not sure why black women are still dating black guys anyway. They usually have nothing to offer and are at the bottom of the barrel compared to other ethnic groups. A lot of black men tend to have self-hatred and want someone other than the way they look because they hate their features. Black women are fools for still even dealing with black men. It's time to move on, ladies. You have no choice. That's interesting. I will say, as a regular black woman who has not had any trouble attracting black men who meet my standards, that, I don't know, it's definitely case by case. But when we're talking about the larger social dynamics, saying that that's an ugly woman issue is ugly. It's real ugly of you to say that. And that is not an uncommon sentiment. So many people under that post were saying, I'm fine, like, it's just you ugly bitches. And it's like, sis, no. So I get that all of these women talking about they're too pretty or desirable to understand what I'm talking about with regard to beauty standards. You want to separate yourselves from us. I understand, I get it. Congratulations. But it's wrong. You're wrong. The women who leave these types of comments are really just gaslighting us. They're saying it's not because you're a black woman, it's because you're ugly, which is exactly what white folks do. And white folks do that in all sorts of ways. It's not because you're black, it's because you're unqualified. It's not because you're black, it's because you're untalented. It's not because you're black, it's because you have a defective culture. So when black women are coming together to commiserate over a shared experience and a social dynamic that we know and that we see around us, you can't make those arguments if you have a good understanding of history and power in this country. You can't. And that's why I go so deep into the construction of whiteness and white beauty ideals, because in a white supremacist society, blackness is what makes you ugly in white supremacist society. Distance from whiteness makes you ugly. When all of these women are just saying, you're ugly, what do saying, sis? Like, really think about, like, what are you saying, right? Because really what you're saying is your physicality does not conform to the ideal, and the ideal is proximity to whiteness. In a white supremacist society where blackness is viewed as nasty, ugly, defective, criminal, and whiteness is a commodity, we're all vying for resources. And what are those resources? Those resources are housing, money, employment, attention, and yeah, if you are a straight woman, men. Oh, and another thing, when I'm making these points about social dynamics, I'm not saying that every single person on the planet thinks that black people are ugly. What I'm saying is that in cultures across the globe, the darkest people are said to be ugly. The darkest people are cast to the margins. And that whiteness and proximity to whiteness goes a long way. Who are the black equivalents to an Amy Schumer or a Lena Dunham or a Melissa McCarthy? These are white women who are decidedly outside of the traditional beauty norm, and they get to play into that and make jokes about it and play it up, right? Like, that's the foundation of their career. We don't see that space opened up for black women like that. In previous generations, we kind of had it with like a Whoopi Goldberg, but for some reason I do feel like we've regressed in some ways. The point is that making this about ugliness without interrogating how beauty is constructed to exclude blackness is not it. Like, that's just not the wave. You're off, okay? And just to put a pin in this, think about the fact that Meghan Markle gets it and she looks the way that she does, right? Some people say that she's white passing. I don't think so. That's a whole nother debate. Don't try to debate me in these comments about if Meghan Markle looks black. It's not even really the way that she looks that triggers people, right? It's the specter of blackness, just the idea that blackness is hovering around that makes people respond with, you're gross, you're ugly, why would he want you, right? Like, that's how powerful blackness is in a racist imagination, or an imagination that is tainted by white supremacy. Let's look at another one. Is it okay that I am so tired of black women questioning and analyzing all the reasons why black men don't want us? Because I am. I really am tired. If you want to date me, cool. If not, that's cool too. But I am so tired of trying to convince men and myself why it's not working out. For whatever reason, I was born into this world with this world's set of problems, and I am tired of trying to figure out all of this crap out. My new plan of 2019 and beyond is to love me as much as I can, and if a black man or a white man or whatever comes along to join me in the love, then welcome. But I refuse to fret over it any longer. I'm just over it. So I pretty explicitly say, don't fret over it. I'm with you. Don't stress yourself out about it. Don't fret over it. It's not gonna change anything. I do like deconstruction though. I do. I love theory. That's why I do this. I love theorizing. I love cultural theory. I love feminist theory. I love to read theory. And I discovered why I love it so much when I was reading an essay by Bell Hooks. It's called Theory as Liberatory Practice. And basically in that essay, she's saying that she loves theory because theory helps her know that she's not crazy. Oh, I felt that so much, right? So when somebody articulates the thing that you have in your mind, it makes you realize you're not crazy, you're not imagining it, you're not seeing things, you're not making it up. It's really there. You don't have to ask, is it me? Like, is nobody else seeing this? No, it's not just you. And I love this platform, and you know, as much as I try, I can't stay away from making these videos because I want to do that for other people. And you know, if that doesn't appeal to you, there are millions of other YouTube channels. Next. Men treat you how you allow. It's not a racial thing, because I'm spoiled as fuck and know many regular, educated, non-educated, professional, and non-professional black women who are as well. Sorry, love, I'm black and spoiled as fuck by black men. Can't relate. I'm at a point in my life where I am not being mistreated by the people I choose to date. I know people think that I'm just projecting. That's not really it. Not really. It seems like a lot of folks don't understand that there's a difference between speaking about just your personal experience, which I do, mostly on Patreon, sign up. But there's a difference between just talking about what happens to you and talking about broader social dynamics. I hope that I am able to take a step back and not be so myopic in my theorizing, in my commentary, in my analysis, to be able to say, okay, well, at this particular moment in time, this thing is not happening to me, but I see what's going on. I always want to make sure that I'm paying attention to what typifies a larger social dynamic. So let's for a second take a step back and not talk about beauty for a second. So I made a video about Candace Owens last week, and Candace loves to say that people hate her and they're mad at her because she's a black woman who doesn't see herself as a victim. Racism has no impact on her life. And Candace is free to feel that way. She's free to believe that she is the master of her own destiny 100% of the time. But it don't make sense. And it doesn't make sense because racism, sexism, classism, colorism are both observable and quantifiable. We can track these things over time. So yeah, your experience is great. I also have had some pretty good experiences. Now, I've also had some pretty bad experiences. That's life. But I'm not just talking about what happens to you in your life, in your DMs. That's not what we're trying to do here. That's not the project. And by the way, if you're looking for a deep dive on colorism, the tangible effects of colorism in black women's lives, I made a video about that a couple of years ago. I will link it. Check it out. You know I cite my sources. I show up to class on time and I do my readings. So there's lots and lots of resources in that video. Check it out. Last one. At this point, does it really matter? I feel like when we talk about this topic, it's almost like our feelings are hurt because black men decided that they didn't want us anymore. We kind of just have to get over it and learn to love ourselves and our color. I think that when we become an example of true self-love, then only will black men decide we're lovable, and by then we won't want anything to do with them. Okay, let me just say this. I am not about the business of trying to convince anybody, black, white, Latino, whoever, that we're lovable. That's not what I'm trying to do here. No. Like, don't get it twisted. That is not the project. We are not trying to show ourselves approved. You know, I grew up in church. You know, I went to a lot of Sunday school, so sometimes it just comes out. But I also want to talk about this hurt thing, right? So I'm sure that there are lots of black women who have never experienced any kind of insecurity about their noses or their hair or their skin or their bodies or whatever, right? Shout out to y'all. I cannot relate to that. Again, we're socialized into white supremacy. Even people who mean well, who care about us, push unrealistic beauty standards, right? It is easy to get caught up in that stuff. And if you do happen to get caught up in that stuff, you're not weak. It's okay. I hope that by having these conversations, we can be really honest about the fact that if you are hurt by rejection, that's okay. Rejection hurts. As much as we say that we as in black women, don't want to be boxed in with these strong black woman labels or whatever, I do feel like people try to pretend like they don't have feelings, they're never vulnerable, they are always 100% sure of themselves. And I'm like, you know, I think I'm pretty popping, but I cannot relate to that. And I just hope that by opening this up and being really real about it and approaching it from a loving place and a place of understanding, that, again, black women know that, like, it's not just you, girl. It's not just you. You're not crazy. It's not in your head. I think it's really destructive for people to say, oh, you're hurt by that? Girl, get over it. No, like, let's work through that. You know, we don't have to stay in that place of hurt. We don't have to stay in that place of insecurity. We can move through it. I'm a black woman who looks like this. Your mom, your aunt, your cousin, your sister. My life is not miserable. I have a little bit of body dysmorphia, but that's a video for another day. But we can be happy and healthy and like popping, like Poppington. That's definitely possible. It's not possible if you are not being honest, and it's not possible if you're not doing the work. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of this video. As always, I appreciate you. You know, again, my video about my dating advice and my dating life is up on Patreon. Of course, it's patrons only. So go over there, check that out. I love you guys. Leave a comment, send me an email, grab some merch, sign up for the email newsletter. I used to say tweet me or Facebook me or DM me, but not anymore because I'm not around. But I'm here. I'm here. So meet me here. So weird. Bye guys. See you later.